I co-founded Varda Space Industries, the world's first in-space manufacturing and Earth re-entry logistics company. And we want to build an in-space economy by using microgravity as a unique asset to develop unique materials that we can then sell to customers on Earth.
I'm Colonel Mia Walsh. I'm the commander of Space Base Delta III in Los Angeles Air Force Base, California. So I've basically done everything from tracking at a radar site, tracking the satellites and debris, all the way up to command and control.
The idea of manufacturing in space has existed even before we ever went to space. Just the idea of what could you do if you can turn off gravity locally for a manufacturing process. All of this research has been done. The only thing that was really being prohibitive from commercializing this research was the cost to get to space. But thanks to reusable rockets, that cost has dropped below the threshold where we can make some products economically in space. But by doing so, we're scaling into a large market, which is going to drive launch demand.
The private space industry brings an innovation that we haven't previously seen. It has changed kind of the mindset of how the military is going to move forward with space acquisitions and some of the space programs. I think consolidating all our space forces into just one service. We need to be able to defend our space assets that are up there.
When I was first looking at where to start the company, I was living in New York, and I created a heat map based on all the engineering talent that we would need to hire. And El Segundo is the hottest spot for the engineering talent that we would need to hire for a company like this. It's a no-brainer that just go where the talent is.
The history of Los Angeles Air Force Base is actually pretty interesting. Started with the Western Development Division in the early 60s. Aerospace Corporation started here as well. The growth of the companies in this area caused the base to stay. The talent that's in El Segundo is not matchable anywhere else.
We can get materials from here. We can order something at 7 a.m. and it shows up that day. There are test facilities here. Every part of the value chain and the supply chain can be found here to go to space.
I think we see that a lot of people who come to this base do put down roots in this area. They love it here. There's a lot of talent in this area, and that talent tends to stay at Los Angeles Air Force Base, which is really nice.
The great weather is always the first thing that comes up with recruits, but also just like a very pleasant place to live. You got the beach cities, it's beautiful. You got beach towns, each one has a little bit of a different vibe, and El Segundo is kind of centrally located so that each of those doesn't feel too far away.
I've lived in a lot of places around the US where you have a lot of support for the military from the community, but nothing like what you would see here in El Segundo.
I can't go to Slice and Pints in El Segundo without seeing a friend from either this company or another space enthusiast or industry enthusiast. Really the whole ecosystem. So if we have a problem where we're like, hey, we got to figure out this design issue, who could we ask? There's someone that's solving a very similar problem in the vicinity.
I think the Space Force is pushing a lot towards innovation, and they're realizing, learning from some of these smaller companies, like what they should be moving towards.
There's a lot of access to the local government, and that really helps the community thrive, I think, as well.
We've had lunch with the Chamber of Commerce, we've met city council members, and this is not outreach on our part, this is outreach on their part to really support the base. I think it's unlike anything I've ever seen before, and we're really proud to be part of this community.
It's like what you were taught when you were a kid of how civic government and neighborhoods work. So that's really on display at El Segundo.